Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. And today your teacher had invited me to tell you this story. This is a wonderful story, and I'm going to tell you the same way that my teacher and Winkler told me time ago. This story happened long time ago. So long that there were no computers, no phones, no cars, no streets, if you can believe that. That was so long ago that at that time humans were not very different from animals. They were actually moving from place to place. They were called nomads. At that time, they didn't have supermarkets like we have today. So they were going to an area, they were going to a place, and they were actually looking around and getting all the food that they can collect from maybe from the trees, or maybe from the bushes, or hunting the animals that were around. The problem is that after such a time, maybe they run out of food. So what they had to do is that they had to pack everything they had and move to another place. Can you believe that? Moving from place to place, just following the food? So this story happened at that time, long time ago. And in this village, they were getting to a point that they didn't have a lot of food. So they went and they decided to go and talk to the best hunter. The best hunter was a girl that was like 7 or 8 years old, kind of like some of you. And actually they told her, hey, you need to go and you need to get us some food because we're running out of food, and if we don't have food, we're gonna have to move to another place. So tomorrow in the morning, just go and get us some food. So she woke up early in the morning, she crossed the river, through the forest, through the meadows, she passed a big rock and then went over there, all the way over there. And when she was there, she saw some deers. And she got her bow and arrow, she prepared it. She was the best hunter, so and she got the deer. She said, I am so happy I can bring the deer so we all can have dinner today. While she was walking, she was with her cane bag. And she was collecting her stuff, things that she was liking. I mean, maybe a rock, maybe a feather, things like she was finding around the way. So she was carrying the deer. Can you imagine an 8-year-old carrying a big deer? It was very heavy. So at one point, she saw this big rock. It was a huge rock. And she said, okay, I need to rest a little bit. It's hot here. So I'm just going to lay down on the shade. And I'm just going to take maybe a little nap. So she sat there. She put the deer on the side. And when she was there, she heard, girl! And she started looking around and said, there's nobody here. She was looking around and then she heard again, girl! And she was like, hey, who's talking to me? What's going on? She saw me, it's a joke here. Someone is doing me a prank here. But then she turned around and said, hey, it's me. I'm Grandfather Rock. Who are you, a Grandfather Rock? A rock is talking to me. I said, maybe I get too much sun today. Said, no, I'm Grandfather Rock. And I have a story to tell you. Would you like to listen to my story? And the girl said, yes, I want to listen to the story. So Grandfather Rock decided to tell her started telling her how there was like a big explosion, and from that explosion, the solar system was created, and how the planets were created, and a special planet started moving around the sun. And he got a lot of rain, and with volcanoes, and all the rivers, how the mountains were created. She was fascinated. Can you believe that? She always wondered how these things were, how this planet was created. And now she knew. So she finished and she said, I really like your story, Grandfather Rock. So I'm going to give you a present. They collected this rock. It was the most precious rock that I could find. So I'm going to give you this present and I'm going to put it here because I really like your story. And then she got the deer and came back, but now she was so excited because she was thinking, okay, everybody's going to love my story in the village. So she went through the meadow, through the forest, through the river, got there, and everybody was so excited. Oh, we have deer today to eat. So they did kind of like a barbecue at night. They have a really cool barbecue at night. Everybody enjoyed. And you know what? At that time, again, I said they didn't have TVs or radios or iPhones. So they liked to sit around it and tell stories. And she said, hey, I have a wonderful story that I would like to share with all of you. And she started telling them about how the world was created. And everybody was so happy because even the elders in the tribe, they didn't know how these things happened. So guess what? They told her, tomorrow you're gonna go and get more food for us. But also, let's see if you can pass through Grandfather Rock and see if you can have another story. So the next day, she went and she was so excited. She was running. She went through the river, through the forest, through the meadow, all over. She got to hunt some stuff. She got a couple of fish. She was just happy. She got some berries around. She got a good food, actually. She could have a good stew that night. And then when she came back, she decided to stop by Grandfather Rock. And was seated, and then she heard, girl! And said, hey, Grandfather Rock, I'm here. Because I want you to tell me another story if you have a story. And Grandfather Rock said, indeed, I have a great story to tell. I can tell you this story. And then Grandfather Rock decided to tell the girl the story about how life came to the planet. How it was so small that nobody could see it, and they started changing and growing and creating animals like Anomalocaris or trilobites, or getting to those big dinosaurs and all the things that we learn in the timeline of life, everything that was there, even the animals that we see today. And she was like fascinated with that. Oh, I always wanted to know what these animals, how they came from. That's really exciting. Thank you, Grandfather Rock. He said, I really like your story, so I have something that I can share with you. I decided to share this beautiful feather. Oh, that's a present for you in exchange for your great story. So she got all the food and she went through the meadow, through the forest, through the river, go back. And everybody was waiting, and they were happy because she was bringing food, but they were actually more excited. They were saying, did you bring a new story? Do we have a new story? And said, yes, I have a new story. So that night again, they have a little barbecue, they ate the fish, they ate all the berries, everything they had, and she told them the story, and everybody was fascinated. I wanted to know about all these animals. What are they doing here and how they came here? And guess what? They told her, tomorrow you go early in the morning, you get us more food, and you are going to bring us another story. So the next morning, she went running again through the river, through the forest, through the meadow, through the rock, and they went there, and she got she got some sheep, and got some food that she can find, and then when she came back, she decided to sit on the rock. And he was over there waiting. Nothing happened. Waiting, Grandfather Rock. And then when she was about to leave, girl! I said, yes, I'm here, Grandfather Rock. I came here to see if you can tell me another story. I said, yes, I have another story. And then Grandfather Rock told her about how humans came to the planet, and about the three gifts that humans have, and about how humans are also animals, but what makes them special from other animals. And she was fascinated because she always wanted to know about her, what was she coming from, how did humans came. So she came back all running through the meadows, through the forest, through the river, came back, they have another barbecue, and guess what? Next day, hey, you can go and get another story. So the next morning, she just went again through the river, through the forest, through the meadow, got some food, came back to Grandfather Rock, and he was just kind of waiting, and I don't know what's happening today. She was like thinking, I don't know. And then she heard, girl! And then say, hey, Grandfather Rock, do you have a story for me? And Grandfather Rock said, you know what? I don't have more stories for you. I already told you all the stories that I know. I told you how the world and the universe were created. I told you how life came to the planet. I told you how humans came to be. But now this is your time. Go around and tell these stories and start making your own stories. And this is what happened a long time ago. you like the story. Thank you for